Hey guys, Alexa Pena here with another real estate video, and today we're going to talk about the cost of living in El Paso, Texas. El Paso, Texas is actually 3% lower percentage-wise over the national state average. Now, if we're comparing it to the actual state, we're actually looking at about a 10% difference there. And I just want to use some quick examples to really talk about what it is that you would be looking if you are living in El Paso, Texas when it comes to overall your expenses, whether it be your utilities, whether it be your mortgage, groceries, and overall any miscellaneous activities such as entertainment, going out, things of that nature. So I want to make this very simple for you guys. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I will insert some charts for you guys to compare percentage-wise overall for my analytical folks out there. However, I want to use some real examples of what it usually costs to live in El Paso with a family of 4, which is typically what we see. Now, if you are like one of my military clients, relocating, sometimes they're single, they're not having to worry about the expenses be a little bit higher because of a family, obviously this will be a good metric to use for comparison. Now, if you're talking about a mortgage, typically speaking for a family of 4 in a house of about 2,000 square feet, your average mortgage is going to be about $2,500. That is something that will include your taxes, your interest, your insurance, and overall your principal. So the 4 components would already be included there. I see a lot of people sometimes try and say like, oh, this is just your principal and your interest. Again, you want to know the full picture. So about $2,500 on a home that again, typically would have about 2,000 square feet. That can vary, so depending on how you are currently structuring that, whether it's you have a lower interest rate, you get some discount points, obviously that can vary, but for now, simple math, that is typically what you would be paying when it comes to the mortgage. Now, when we're talking about utilities, that is another thing that you really want to factor in. Now, utilities, that's usually going to have 4 components: your electric, your gas, your water, and of course, we're going to include that in your miscellaneous activities, right? If you're gonna go and have a movie night with your family, whatever the case might be, we will account for that as well. Now, when you're talking about utilities, we're going to have your gas and your electric. Obviously, we have our water and our miscellaneous, which we'll get into in just a second. Gas, if you're doing a lot of cooking, typically that's going to range between $50 to $80. It can be lower, again, if you're doing a lot of takeout, then of course it's gonna be a lot lower. I have some of my clients that are like, Alexa, we don't cook. So obviously that's going to play a factor. I've seen some of them pay like $30. Now, overall, if you're talking about your electric bill, we live in obviously the desert, okay? So it can get pretty hot. You want to ensure you have your AC on, like that's just a given. So I'm gonna use an example even for myself. We have the AC on 24/7, like that is a non-negotiable in my house. My kids will be looking at me like I'm cold. I'm like, no, we're keeping the air on. So with that being said, we typically pay about $180 in our electric bill. Now, bear with me. I do charge my car at home, so that's actually a pretty good deal there because we'll get into the gas prices as well. That is typically something that's already including having the AC on all day and then still charging my vehicle. For the month, I would definitely consider that a great deal. So another utility that you have here is obviously your water, right? Now, when it comes to your water, that is a key component, obviously. And for us, typically what we're seeing on a family of 4, what you're averaging is about $80. That's also not bad. We do also have a water filtration system, which typically will use a little bit more to actually clean out the system for better water. So I have seen some of our clients spend about $50 on their water bill. Again, it just varies depending on your unique situation, but I definitely wanted to use that as a comparison because again, there's a lot of people that sometimes, like I had a client come over from Germany and they were used to paying on their electric bill when things were really crazy over there. They were paying $2,500 for their electric bill. Like that was insane. And when we were talking about their mortgage payment, they were kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is something that maybe is going to add a little bit too much to what we're wanting to spend on top of the electric bill. But in reality, it was not going to be anywhere near what they were used to. Now, our last talking point today is going to be your miscellaneous activities, which obviously, who doesn't like to go out dining, whether it's for your movies, whether it's just a family overall get together. Typically what you're seeing there just depends, obviously every family is going to have different ideas of what they consider to be fun, but let's just use going out to eat, right? If let's say you were going to a restaurant, typically speaking for a family of 4, you will spend around $150. Of course, like I mentioned, it just depends. My son's a little extra, okay? So when we go get sushi, like you would think like we're gonna get a good deal. No, we're like close to $200 because this kid's like, oh, the miso, the ramen, the this, the that. So brace yourself, obviously, if those are your little ones and that's how your family vibe is. But other than that, honestly, it can be very, very affordable. Recently, we just came back from Austin for one of the events that we had out there. I mean, for 2 of us, actually no, I'm lying. For 3 of us, it was about $350 that we spent on the dining situation that we had going on there. And it wasn't something like high end or anything like that. It was a pretty normal spot, but overall it added up the expenses that we were, you know, the appetizers and the things that we got. And over here, typically you're getting your appetizers, your dessert, your food, you know, everything that you need. You're typically gonna get a pretty good deal for that. Also, I don't know about you guys, but if you like to go to the movies, for instance, we have Alamo Draft House over here, which definitely recommend. They have some amazing wings, side note. But also, this is some of the things that you can definitely just incorporate, and typically like your tickets there will be about $10. If you're gonna get your popcorn, that's another like $8. So again, pretty affordable overall activities. Oh, which by the way, if you haven't checked out my last video, we have a new arcade here in El Paso called Monkey Rock. Highly recommend you check out that video. It was super amazing. My boys loved it. I love the fact that there's just so many places opening up here in El Paso now. Definitely something worth checking out. So overall, when it comes down to El Paso, as we can see, there is a lot of things that you want to factor in. There is a lot of options when it comes down to your unique situation. So if of course you have a family where again, it's only maybe you and your husband, obviously these prices are going to vary. But in general, we are ranked one of the lowest priced averages here in the United States, about 10% like I was mentioning earlier. So that does make a difference for a lot of people that are looking to whether it's relocate, retire, whether it comes down to them just trying to save more money. I think that that is one of the things you definitely want to factor in. But again, as we've talked about it in the past, right? Everybody's different. So for El Paso, maybe some people are like, no, like there's not a lot of things to do. And as you know, I like to focus on the positive. So overall, one of the things, as I was mentioning in the last part, we have a lot of new attractions opening up. I'm part of the governmental affairs, and we see all the new things that are opening up here in El Paso that are constantly continuing to come here. And I think that that's a very important thing to consider if you're looking to invest in real estate. We bought a house back in 2016. That home, we bought it for about $156. Now that house is over $310. Overall, a good return on an investment, definitely something you want to factor in if you're looking to invest in a place where you can call home. So I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, please let us know. As we mentioned before, we specialize in relocation. So anything that we can assist you with, please reach out to us. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day.